Here's a thought, Francis.
I like thoughts.
I don't think anybody who is in the running to win the MVP gives a shit about the MVP. I think we care about the MVP more than whoever wins the MVP. And don't get me wrong, whoever wins the MVP will be very cordial. They'll thank the media, they'll thank the press, they'll smile, the team might give you a little morale booster going forward. But you know who definitely most likely doesn't care about the MVP? That would be Russell Westbrook. Well, he definitely doesn't care about answering questions about it. So here was his response in the most Westbrookian fashion to to his response in regards to Steph Curry saying he thinks James Harden should be the MVP because of record.
Russ, I imagine you've got so many more priorities, but do you pay attention to when other players talk about who the MVP could be?
I don't.
So has anyone told you that Curry shared his opinion that it should be Harden because of where the Rockets are in the standings?
I don't care. No matter what he say. Who is he?
Cryptic coding. Who is he?
Yeah, I don't think he knows who he is. I really don't. Is
Russell
that kid
Westbrook
that plays
suffers from amnesia.
Yeah, he just kind of blanked him out a little bit after that shot. I think it was after that shot they hit the game winner last season against OKC. I think he just blanked it out from his memory to save himself. He was one of the ones that was closest to him, I believe, so maybe he just completely shut it out.
Men in Black.
That's it.
Pew.
Never happened.
Never happened.
Yeah, Russell Westbrook, as much as sometimes when he answers questions, I don't give him credit. He does what you're supposed to do when you're asked questions that don't relate in any way as to what just happened in the game. Like, they could have asked him several questions, which I think they did with their game, specifically against the Raptors, but they're asking questions to get headlines. Again, they want Russell Westbrook to react, and I'm not blaming the media for that. Sometimes you will get people like Steph Curry who will be like, yeah, I think it should be James Harden. Again, I'm not going to scrutinize him for that, but I'm never going to condemn an athlete for solely saying that he's not in any way, shape or form caring about something as stupid as that, especially that comment. He doesn't think about the MVP though. I don't know if I believe that. I feel that players, that's like saying the Golden State Warriors last year weren't concerned about the record. I think that I think it's somewhere in their mind they know about it.
How much do you think the media is to blame?
A lot.
We blow it completely out of proportion.
This year, more so than anything else.
I do.
The reason we're talking about MVP this year so much is because Russell Westbrook doesn't have a Kevin Durant with him, so it will pertain to more headlines such as Russell Westbrook thrives without Kevin Durant. Russell Westbrook is the player we all knew he could be without Kevin Durant. Russell Westbrook wins MVP. Russell Westbrook is the only player to almost average a triple-double for the entire season since Oscar Robertson. Blah, 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 blah. Those are the headlines, and that's all because it will be validated if he wins an MVP.
Right. Do you know why he's not going to win the MVP?
Because of record, man. No, just saying.
Tim Bontemps. I think it's Bontemps, but I just think of, I watch True Blood, and the town is Bontemps or whatever, but it's spelled B-O-N-T-M-P-S. A writer, I believe, for also CBS Sports, put out this list. He polled 106 media members, some of which do have an MVP vote, some of which don't. It will likely be close, but the winner of the 2017 NBA MVP award has been decided. If there's at least 25%, this is element B number 7. If this has even 25% of people who have an MVP vote, you can hand it to Harden today, you can hand it to him tomorrow. It won't matter what happens to the remaining 15 games of the season, besides like an 0-15 stretch by the Rockets. Harden also picked a really, really good time to have his absolute best performance of the season. So again, kudos for Bontemps to put this together, because it's actual context to the situation, and whether or not you have an MVP vote or not, I can tell you if 25% do, and given his network of writers and media members, I'm going to safely say about 25% of those guys do have an MVP vote. That's enough. And understandably, look, I don't think James Harden is my MVP. Turnovers alone. I mean, he is probably up there as having one of the best offensive seasons in the history of the NBA. And his numbers, pound for pound, depending on which ones you pick, are better than Westbrook's, and depending on which ones of Westbrook's numbers you pick are better than James Harden's.
Yeah.
I pick Westbrook for MVP for the reason that no one's done what Westbrook has done in a season in terms of these averages, in terms of how much that team, I think, is actually exceeding expectations. They lost the third best player in the league, sometimes second, other times the best player in the league, and one of the best two-way players against LeBron James and Kawhi Leonard. They lost that, and they're still going to win 45-ish games and still go to the playoffs as a six or seven seed. And a lot of people, I get it, the Rockets have a better record. The only other argument I have against Harden, and I think he's a deserving MVP, just not my MVP, hashtag not my MVP, is Mike D'Antoni. That system, that offense, he got Steve Nash MVPs. He made Jeremy Lin famous in New York for 4 days. And now he's going to make James Harden MVP too.
So the reason I ask this question is because I remember we talked about the MVP at the start of the year. And
do you remember that?
Yeah, and you said if...
Who the fuck they going to give it to?
Yeah, and you said if Russell Westbrook averages a triple-double for the entire season...
And they win no games.
And they win at the bottom. No, I think we ended up deciding on if they were at least not last in the Western Conference, but...
I said playoffs.
Around playoffs, he would win the MVP. So what do you think is... I know he's not averaging a triple-double for the entire season yet, but he's not far off.
No, I think he is. He's got 10.0,
is he still
10.5, and 31 points per game.
So where are they deciphering this change? Do you think it's just solely because of
I think there's Westbrook fatigue. I do. I think that from like the first 30 games of the season, the more people talked about the triple-double record, the more people talk about chasing history and is he going to catch Oscar Robertson for most triple-doubles in a season, which he's on pace for. The more that came up, the more people got fatigued over 1 year. Usually it's like, oh, LeBron won another MVP. We gave him 3. Now we don't need to vote for him anymore. It took 3 years to get LeBron fatigue. It took a full year of Kevin Durant for the next season to get Kevin Durant fatigue. It took 2 years of Nash and 2 years of Curry to get Curry fatigue. To be fair, it's taken 60 games to get Russell Westbrook fatigue.
Yeah.
And come on, man. I mean, in terms of the MVP, if you want to talk about value, yes, take both of those players off that team, and guess who's battling it out for the 13 seed in the not playoffs? The Rockets and the Thunder.
Very true.
I don't know if Clint Capella's leading them. I don't know if Steven Adams is, but we have to leave you with this, Francis. Have you seen the Mustache Bros commercial?
Is it with Enes Kanter and Steven Adams?
Yes.
I've had it playing in the background.
I'm waiting for Clint Capella and company to make one of these for James Harden. So until then, obviously, Kanter and Adams believe that Russell Westbrook's their MVP.
Roomies! Woo! Ellis, so what's the one thing we love more than our moustaches?
Puppies?
No.
Because you know we love puppies.
No.
Oh, okay. A notebook. Okay. Let me guess again. Trees.
I don't even know who you are anymore, mate. Of course, the only thing that we love more than our moustaches is our leader, our hero, our fashion icon, our king of the prairie, Russell Westbrook.